The knife in my gut isn't the one the surgeon's about to use. It's the sound of my mother's voice slicing through the phone on Christmas Eve, sharp enough to carve out the last piece of me that still believed in family. Don't you dare make us cancel again, Elena. We've had these tickets for months. I'm 33 years old, bleeding inside a Las Vegas hospital room that reeks of bleach, burnt coffee, and the metallic tang of my own fear. My twins, Liam and Ava, barely 2, with cheeks still round from baby fat and eyes too wise for their age, sit cross-legged on the cold tile floor, stacking plastic cups into wobbly towers that collapse every time the monitor beeps. Their dinosaur pajamas glow under the fluorescent lights like tiny emergency flares nobody's coming to answer. Outside the window, the strip blinks red and gold, a carnival of strangers laughing, kissing, living, while I count heartbeats between contractions of pain so fierce I see stars behind my eyelids. The agony is a living thing, coiling tighter with every breath, a serpent made of scar tissue and bad decisions. But the real wound, the one that bleeds without sound, is the one my parents just reopened with 4 sentences and a hang-up. I used to think love was a debt you paid in silence, month after month, until your bones ached from carrying it. Tonight, I learn it's a currency they never accepted from me. Not once. 6 months ago, Marcus kissed the twins goodnight, ruffled Liam's curls, pressed his lips to Ava's forehead, and said, "Be right back, babe, just grabbing milk." He walked out in his favorite gray hoodie, the one with the frayed cuff he refused to throw away. He never came home. A drunk driver turned our minivan into twisted metal and my future into ash. I buried him in the suit he wore to our wedding, the one I'd teased him about because the tie was too wide. The cemetery plot cost more than the headstone. The silence afterward cost everything else. Since then, every first of the month, I've wired $2,500 to Robert and Diane Harper, my parents, like a subscription to their retirement fantasy. They bought a boat they christened Second Wind, painted it nautical blue, and told everyone at the marina their daughter handles the finances. They posted sunset cruises on social media while I rationed diapers, wiped noses, and woke up gasping from nightmares where Marcus reached for me through shattered glass. I never missed a payment. Not once. Not when the twins had double ear infections and the pediatrician bill came in at $800. Not when grief sat on my chest so heavy I couldn't inhale without tasting salt. Not when I sold Marcus's guitar to cover rent. Tonight the bill comes due in blood. It started as a twinge after dinner, sharp, dismissive. I thought it was stress. Then the vomiting. Then the dizziness that sent me crashing into the kitchen table, knocking over Ava's sippy cup. The ambulance ride was a blur of sirens and Liam's wail echoing off the vinyl seats. Now I'm here. Internal bleeding. Scar tissue from the emergency C-section that saved the twins, but left me with a zipper of a scar and a body that never quite forgave me. The ER doctor uses words like hemorrhage, stat, operating theater. I'm being prepped for surgery when the nurse, Clara, hands me my phone with a look that says last chance. 1 bar of battery. Screen cracked in the shape of a lightning bolt. I dial the only people who share my last name. Mom, I need you to come. The twins. Elena, Jessica's already in the car. The opening act starts in 40 minutes. We've been planning this for months. Her voice is champagne bubble bright, like I'm asking her to cancel a dentist appointment instead of begging her to keep my children from becoming orphans. Dad, please. I might not. You're always dramatic, he snaps, and I hear the clink of ice in a glass. We're retired. We deserve one night. Without your chaos. The line goes dead. So does something inside me, something that's been dying in slow motion for years. Clara's eyes are soft brown, the color of earth after rain, the color of Marcus's eyes when he proposed under a sky full of monsoon clouds. My cousin Sophia does emergency childcare for situations exactly like this, she says, already dialing. She'll be here in 20. While Clara speaks in low, urgent Spanish, I stare at the ceiling tiles. One has a water stain shaped like a continent I'll never visit with my children. I think of Marcus teaching Liam to say dada into the baby monitor, recording it so he could play it back when he was on night shifts. I think of Ava's first laugh, how it sounded like wind chimes in a storm, how Marcus had looked at me like I'd hung the moon. Sophia arrives in under 20 minutes, smelling of vanilla, subway metal, and the kind of calm that comes from holding other people's breaking points together. She kneels so the twins see her face before her fear. Liam offers her his stuffed triceratops like a bribe. Ava hides behind my four-pole, clutching a red crayon like a sword. "They'll be safe," Sophia says. Not a promise, a fact. Her voice is warm bread and steel. Clara slips me my phone again. The screen flickers. With fingers that won't stop shaking, I open the banking app. The auto transfer is scheduled for tomorrow, $2, $500, labeled parental support. I hover over cancel. My thumb hovers longer than my life might. I press it. Then I type a text to the contact labeled mom and dad. Asterisk, no more money. No more access. Don't come looking for us, asterisk. I don't hit send. Not yet. The doors swing open. Fluorescent lights stretch into tunnels. The anesthesiologist asks me to count backward from 10. I make it to 7 before the world folds into black. I wake up alive. That's the first miracle. The second is the silence where their voices used to be. 42 missed calls. 0. Asking if I survived. 27 texts. All about the cruise deposit. The mortgage. The inconvenience. Sophia stayed all 5 days, camping on the vinyl recliner that smells like old fries and antiseptic hope. She reads Goodnight Moon in 3 accents, Irish, Texan, cartoon mouse, until Liam stops asking for daddy and Ava stops crying into her pillow at 2 a.m. She invoices me for 2 coffees, a pack of crayons, and a dinosaur sticker book. I cry harder over the receipt than the incision. Day 3, Jessica FaceTimes from the back of an Uber, city lights streaking across her perfect cheekbones. My sister, perfect teeth, perfect filter, perfect ignorance. Mom says you had a tummy tuck and threw a tantrum about babysitting. What is wrong with you? I flip the camera to the surgical drain snaking out of my abdomen like a translucent worm, yellow fluid dripping into a plastic bulb. Jessica's filter can't hide the green in her cheeks. They told me it was elective. Tell me that again when you're bleeding on a table and your kids might be orphans by morning, I whisper. My voice is gravel and grief. The call drops like a guillotine. That night I draft a will on the back of a cafeteria menu. The paper smells like mashed potatoes and finality. Asterisk Guardian, Sophia Alvarez. Contingency, Clara Gwynn. In the event of my death, my children are to be raised in a home where love is not a transaction, asterisk. My parents' names don't appear. I sign it with a pen that leaks like my eyes. Home is a second-floor walk-up where the hallway light flickers like it's on life support and the neighbor's cat screams at 3 a.m. like a banshee with opinions. I move like a broken marionette, staples pulling with every step, the incision a hot coal under my skin. Sophia shows up every morning with grocery bags, boundaries, and a smile that doesn't ask permission. Liam learns her name before he relearns mine. Ava calls her FIA, and it sounds like fear leaving the room. Then the doorbell. Through the peephole, Mom clutching a designer purse like a life raft, Dad's face storm cloud purple. I crack the door 2 inches. The chain rattles like a verdict. Elena, the bank called. Dad's voice cracks like cheap veneer. We're short. The cruise. You mean the mortgage you remortgaged to buy a boat you barely use? Mom's lip trembles, mascara bleeding into the creases around her eyes. We thought you'd never actually stop. You always come through. I shut the door. The deadbolt clicks like a heartbeat I finally control. They escalate. A group email to the entire family, subject line in all caps, ungrateful daughter abandons elderly parents. Cousin Milo fires back a photo of Dad's new jet skis, caption sacrifices look different these days. Aunt Linda attaches a screenshot of Mom's Facebook post from the concert, champagne flute raised, #family first. The thread explodes like a grenade in a confessional. Jessica shows up 3 days later with a duffel bag, a bottle of tequila, and an apology the size of Texas. I believed their script my whole life, she says, folding tiny socks into perfect squares. I thought you were the difficult one. I was the idiot. She moves into the guest room that smells like mothballs and second chances. We stay up until 3 a.m. trading childhood wounds like baseball cards. She cries when I show her the hospital bracelet, still tucked in my wallet like a relic. I cry when she admits she kept every birthday card I ever sent, even the ones Mom threw away to declutter. 2 months later, foreclosure papers arrive at my parents' lakefront palace. Jessica forwards me the scan with a single emoji, derelict house. I feel nothing. Then a flicker of something that might be mercy if I squint. Then the letter. Handwritten on stationery that smells faintly of lilacs and regret. Mom's cursive wobbles like it's learning to walk again. Asterisk, we were jealous of the family you built without us. We mistook your strength for rejection. We are small people learning to live smaller. We don't deserve your money. We're asking for your mercy anyway, not cash, just the chance to earn back a corner of your world. Asterisk. Dad's PS is a single line scrawled in block letters. Asterisk, I started shelving returns at the hardware store. The employee discount on duct tape is surprisingly good. Asterisk. I read it twice. Then a third time in the dark while the twins breathe through the baby monitor like tiny bellows, keeping my heart inflated. I don't cry. I catalog. 3 months post-surgery, I'm strong enough to carry both kids down the stairs at once. The incision scar is a pale lightning bolt across my belly, a reminder that I survived the storm they tried to drown me in. Sophia reduces her hours, but never her presence. She teaches Liam to tie his shoes with bunny ears and Ava to say I'm brave when thunder scares her. I pay her in installments and gratitude that compounds daily. Jessica and I repaint the apartment the color of sunrise, peach and gold, the shade of Marcus's favorite sunset. We hang his photographs where the light hits them first, him holding newborn Liam like a football, him asleep on the couch with Ava sprawled across his chest like a starfish. The twins learn to say Daddy without flinching. Then the second letter. This one from Dad. The envelope is smudged with what might be grease or tears. Asterisk, I stood in the baby aisle today buying pull-ups for someone else's grandkid. Realized I've never bought a single diaper for mine. I don't know how to fix 33 years of absence, but I can start by showing up. Even if it's just to learn their favorite cereal. Asterisk. I fold it into the same drawer as Mom's. I don't answer. Not yet. Summer comes. The twins turn 3. We celebrate in the park with a cake shaped like a stegosaurus and balloons that escape into the sky like tiny rebellions. Jessica pushes Ava on the swing while Liam feeds pigeons. Pretzel crumbs like communion. I'm watching them when I see the bench. 2 figures. Smaller than I remember. Dad wears a hardware store vest, name tag crooked. Mom's purse is canvas now, not leather. They're 50 feet away, hands clasped like teenagers on a first date. They don't approach. They just watch. Ava waves at a pigeon. Mom lifts a tentative hand. Ava waves harder. Mom's shoulders shake. I don't move. That night I dream of Marcus. He's standing in our old kitchen, flipping pancakes into the shape of hearts. He doesn't speak, just points to the drawer where I keep the letters. When I wake, the drawer is open. The letters are gone. Jessica finds them in the trash, smoothed out and annotated in her neat handwriting. Asterisk, they're trying. Doesn't mean you owe them anything. Just means the door isn't welded shut. Asterisk. Fall arrives with foreclosure rumors. The boat sells at auction for pennies. The lake house becomes a short sale. Jessica keeps me updated in measured doses, like medicine I'm not sure I want. Dad's blood pressure spikes. He spends a night in the ER, the same one where I bled out. The irony isn't lost on anyone. Mom calls Jessica from the waiting room. Not to ask for money. To ask what Liam's favorite color is. Jessica tells her green. Mom buys a green sweater 2 sizes too big and mails it without a note. It hangs in the twins' closet like a question mark. Winter again. 1 year since the surgery. I'm stronger now. The scar is a pale river across my stomach. I run 3 miles before the twins wake up, past casinos that never sleep and palm trees that fake serenity. I design memorial websites for widows who want their husband's laughter preserved in pixels, looping videos, favorite songs, the way they said I love you in the dark. The business grows. So does the space in my chest where fear used to live. Then the knock. Not the frantic pounding of desperation. A tentative tap, like someone testing if the ice will hold. I open the door. Dad stands there holding a plastic bag from the dollar store. Inside, 2 Matchbox cars, a bag of goldfish crackers, and a handmade card covered in glitter and uneven hearts. "We don't want to come in," he says quickly, eyes on the welcome mat. "Just wanted to leave this. For their birthday. If that's okay." Mom hovers behind him, eyes red-rimmed. She's wearing the same coat from last year, threadbare at the cuffs, a stain near the hem that might be coffee or regret. I take the bag. Our fingers brush. His are cold. Mine aren't shaking. "Thank you," I say. It's not forgiveness. It's acknowledgement. Spring. We meet at a neutral playground with rubber mulch and the faint smell of sunscreen. The twins are wary but curious. Dad pushes Liam on the swing with the caution of a man handling nitroglycerin. Mom sits on the bench with Ava, teaching her to braid dandelion stems into crowns. I watch from a distance. Jessica stands beside me, arms crossed like a bouncer for my heart. "They've been in therapy," she says. "Twice a week." Dad cries every session. Mom brings tissues and apologies like homework. I nod. Liam shrieks with joy as Dad pushes higher. Ava crowns Mom with a dandelion tiara. Mom's laugh is rusty but real, like a hinge finally oiled. I walk over. 5 more minutes, I say. Then we go. Dad's eyes fill. "Yes, ma'am." The twins don't know these people yet. But they will. In measured doses. With supervision. With the understanding that love isn't a debt. It's a gift you choose to give or withhold. That night, I hang the green sweater in the twins' closet. It fits Ava perfectly now. I draft an email. Not to my parents. To the grief group that saved me, the widows, the widowers, the ones who know what it's like to rebuild from rubble. Subject: 1 year later. Asterisk, I learned that cutting toxic ties doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you start loving yourself enough to stop bleeding for people who won't staunch the wound. Some doors stay closed. Some crack open just enough for light to slip through. Either way, the house is mine to build. Asterisk. I hit send. Outside, the Vegas lights still blink. But for the first time, they look like stars I don't have to pay to see. If this were you, gutted on a table, bankrupt of trust, holding 2 tiny hands and a future that might not include you, would you open the door again? Or would you change the locks, teach your kids the word enough, and build a life where love doesn't come with interest rates? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're still wiring money to people who'd let you die for concert tickets, maybe it's time to hit stop payment on more than just the bank. Your story isn't over. Neither is mine.